So welcome to this third session on compensation and benefits. In fact, today is going to be a very interesting session, again on job evaluation, what we call it as a point plan method. Okay. And before I actually take you to what we are going to do today, let me give you a quick recap of these two sessions so that you're able to recollect and connect with what we have done in the two sessions to today's session. All right. So essentially, when we are talking about compensation and benefits, we said that you want to design a pay structure. All right. So in order to design a pay structure, you have to look at what is the kind of a strategy you are looking at. Compensation strategy. Okay, compensation pay philosophy, compensation pay policy. Now, in order to do all this, we said there are two factors which impact compensation strategy. That is both external factors and internal factors. Unlike the others HR systems, the compensation, if you just design your compensation structure based on the internal factors, then what happens? It will not work, because essentially you want to attract, you want to then motivate, that is, you want them to perform, and then you want to retain. So in order to do that, you need to look at both external and internal as well. And when we looked at external, we looked at four factors: government regulations, we looked at essentially, which actually is very, very critical, because that forms as to what kind of deductions, how much deductions, because it also depends on how much a person will take home. The net salary is dependent on that. Then we also looked at collective bargaining, we looked at globalization, and we looked at different sociological and demographic things which are actually happening in the labor market, and the supply and demand for labor, the inflation, etc., which equally impact the compensation. Now, then we talked about the internal factors. When we are talking about internal factors, we said it's based on an equity principle. That means, every employee, what happens, he's looking at what the input output ratio. That means how much am I giving to the organization in terms of my competencies, knowledge, skill, etc., and how much do I get in terms of what is my reward, what is my wage, what is my premium, postings or benefits, etc. So, but he's not looking them in terms of absolute. He's looking at it in a comparative manner, relative manner. As I said, the crab theory. I'm okay. I gave you an example of a recruiter. I'm okay till the time, I'm getting 5 lakhs and I'm very happy. But the moment another person is actually getting more than me for the similar job, then what I feel is that there is no fairness, there's no equity, right? So this equity principle then leads to three kinds of equity we talked about. Anybody who can mention just the names, please? So we talked about internal equity, we talked about external equity, and we talked about individual equity. Okay, why are these equities very, very important? Very important. The ground principle is that when a person actually gives his effort, gives his time, gives his knowledge, the remuneration has to be in fairness, right? So in order to do that, we looked at all these three kinds of equity. Now we looked at internal equity. What we said, that internal equity is the worth of the job in relation with other jobs within the organization. Okay. Then we talked about job evaluation. External equity is market, which we will be doing today. And individual equity is when two people in an organization are doing the same job, like two recruiters. But one recruiter is doing extensive traveling over and above what the brief is. But then is it fair to pay the same salary? So what is that? I can pay him over and above what he's getting in terms of, it could be a hardship, okay, it could be in terms of a hot skill, or it could be in terms of just a performance. So I have a incentive worked out. So therefore, we will be looking at individual equity in a next session, which essentially is like, if it is for performance, we're looking at variable pays. Okay, so today what we are going to look at is both one of the technology which is very critical called point method for job evaluation, and we'll also look at external equity. Okay, and Vilma has given you excellent material, guys. So lot of theory is worked out. Essentially, we have 2.5 hours, and we are going to really learn the technical part, the maths part, so that it's both interesting and also then you have something to really take back. Okay. Now, so when we talk about so we did all this. If you recall, we did point comparison method, job grading, etc., etc. Now we will talk about point plan. Let me first show you how it looks. Point plan. A point plan looks like this, so that you know exactly what it is. Okay. So when we talk about a point plan, I'll just show you. That means what? That it will have points assigned to every job.
Yeah.
Okay. Points assigned to every job. Like for example here, if you see Director HR, 875 points. Okay. Senior Manager Advertising, 866 points. Manager Accounting, 764 points. So you are going to assign points. So when I assign points, then what happens? I can easily then assess, evaluate, and say the job with the highest points is the job with the higher worth, and the job with the lesser points is the job with the lower worth. Very clear?
Yes.
Say for example, you have the points here. Now, which would be the highest job?
Obviously, Director of Accounting.
Pardon?
The first
Director
one.
Accounting. And which will be your lowest job?
HR clerk.
HR clerk. Why? Because this is 875 points and this is 189 points. In fact, what we call also sometimes the difference between this and this, the bigger the distance, 875 minus 189, if it is only 875 and say 866. So the difference between Director Accounting and Director HR is not much. Have you seen?
Yes.
It's almost like how much? 75, 66. So about 9 points, I think.
9 points.
9 points. Say for example, Director Accounting is going to get 20 lakhs and I will say Director HR will get only 10 lakhs. Now, but the worth of the job, the difference is only 10 points. What will you say? You are a Director HR. Leena is a Director Accounting. She is getting 20 lakhs. And then Shankar is only getting 10 lakhs. You tell me what will, and you also know your points are 866 and Director Accounting points are 875. What will you do? Or what will you feel?
Even if the point difference is very less, salary difference is double.
So why? So are you getting me? Shankar will say this is not fair at all because the worth of the job is hardly negligible. Maybe 1 lakh at best or 2 lakh. But why is this difference of salary so much when the point difference is only 10 points? So scientifically, you can also see objectively, unlike the point grading or the point plan, you can actually see that difference and then say, hey, but this is not fair, right? Okay, so let us get back to how do we first of all do this, assign points or calculate points. Anybody who's done it earlier?
No, I haven't done.
Nobody. Okay. So let me just use a whiteboard, guys, and just. So when we talk about the point plan, you know that. So again, it starts with the first thing is identifying compensable factors. What?
Yes. Compensable factors.
Compensable factors. So last time when we had to do job grading, did we start with identifying compensable factors? So there is a similarity of identifying compensable factors. Okay, that means you are trying to understand that, hey, what are those factors for which you want to pay? And we already did that: education, experience, product knowledge, innovation, creativity. Now, next, you have to determine for every factor how many scales. Now you will say, but what is this? What does it mean? Number of scales. That means it is how much of differentiation you want to have for every factor.
Yeah.
For example, experience. When I recruit a person at a lower level, I will ask for just 1 year of experience for an HR executive. But when I recruit a person for a senior manager, I will say, I want him to be at least 8 to 10 years of experience. So the intensity of the experience is different for a lower level, and the intensity for the higher level is more. Got it?
Correct.
Likewise, creativity, intensity maybe based on the job will be less at a lower level, and based on the job, it will be higher at a higher level. Decision making. So very clear, guys? Intensity. Okay. Now, then you have to determine how many levels, how many number of compensable factors can be here. I want
Could
to
you please repeat that last part, just 1 minute of that last part? I missed.
no problem. We talked about determine the number of scales, right? So what is determining the number of scales? It means that experience is a compensable factor. Got it? So when I said experience is a compensable factor, I said now I have to define how many degrees of differentiation I want to have. Now, the same thing which is called, if you read any compensation book, which is called degrees of differentiation, can also be called as factors of scales. So this is nothing but intensity levels. The intensity of education for an HR executive is just 0 to 1 at a lower level, but maybe at a senior manager, it is 8 to 5 years of experience. Okay. Then you have to also determine how many how many compensable, here I will just write number of compensable factors. Now guys, think about it. When you did grading, you had a challenge, right? What challenge did you have? If you had actually put 5 compensable factors or 6 compensable factors, and you had 5 grades, you had in some positions when you evaluated 50% he is in grade 2, 50% he is in grade 3, right? So therefore, when in grading, you can have any number of grades, but you should limit your compensable factors. But in point plan, you can have even 10 compensable factors, because those critical compensable factors, because you are going to then create a framework in terms of defining the degrees of differentiation. To understand better, let me just show you now that you have this. 1 second. Yeah. So typically a point plan frameworks looks like this. Okay. This is how many factors are here?
11 factors.
11. So essentially you have 1, 2, 3, 4 major factors, and there are sub factors, right? So if you have skill as one factor, then you have sub factors: education, experience, knowledge, then effort, physical effort, mental effort. Then you can have responsibility. Responsibility could be in terms of equipment, that is processes or materials, safety, depending on the organization, and then working with others. Okay. Then job conditions, also working conditions, and also how hazard it is. Like for example, if you go to this blast furnaces, manufacturing organization, steel, steel factories, where working conditions are very, very, hazardous. So there, obviously, at a lower level, people who are working in blast furnaces definitely need to get some kind of a, because of their conditions, that becomes a compensable factor. Okay. Are you very, very clear till here? Now, what did I say? Compensable factors, number of compensable factors. Then what did I say? Degrees of differentiation. I clearly explained, like how many degrees of differentiation are here?
4.
How many?
4, no?
No, there are 5. 1, 2, 3,
5
4,
degrees.
5. So
Okay.
again, I want to show you a definition of a degree of differentiation. If you
Sorry,
see here.
okay.
Say, for example, knowledge is a compensable factor. Got it? Now, how many degrees are here?
5.
Degree is nothing but intensity. The intensity of knowledge required at first degree, and intensity of knowledge required at 5th degree. Is there a difference, guys? At a first degree, the knowledge is just use of reading and writing, adding and subtracting of whole numbers, following instructions, use of fixed gauges. But look at the 5th degree, use of higher mathematics, application of engineering principles, comprehensive knowledge of theories. So are you understanding that the intensity of knowledge required at a first degree is less and a 5th degree is very high?
Very high.
Now, what will you do when you write all this? That means when you take a job description, you will find out what intensity is required by this job and you will assign the point. Okay. Now, let us get back to again. So, what did I say? The process, selecting and defining compensable factors. Then, degrees of differentiation, or what they are called the factor of scales. Now, the third thing you need to do is weightage of these factors, because not all the factors will need the same weightage. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So depending on, so broadly we'll say skill can be just maybe 40%, effort can be 30%, responsibility can be 20%, job conditions can be 10%, or I can say, like effort is 15%, this is 20%, this is 15%, and this is about 40%. So depending on the organization, you are assigning a weightage. When I say weightage, what does it mean? It should be equal to 100. And you are giving higher weightage to the one which is needing higher, very critical in terms of the compensable factor, and least weightage to that factor which is not very critical. Very clear here? Okay. Now how are you going to assign your
number
points, or how are you going to create the point plan? Simple. Since we are going to do linear regression, okay? Since we are going to do linear regression. So if I have assigned 14%, the first one is always same. So 14. Okay. So let me just use a annotate. Okay. And the text. So what will I do? So this is 14%. Okay. Experience is 22. And this is again 14. 10. This is 5. Okay. And likewise. Okay. Now. Okay. Now what will you do? These are weightages. So 14 into first one, 14. 14 into second one will be 14 into 2 is 28. 14 multiplied by this is 42. 14 multiplied by 4th is 56. And 14 multiplied by 5 is 70. Are you getting me?
Okay. So just one question, how this 14 has been arrived at?
How does
this 1422 is been arrived at? How do we say it is 14 or not 15 or 20?
So depending on the nature of your organization, the compensation committee will say, hey, education, experience and knowledge are very important. So I am going to assign 20, 30, 40, 50 if you see. He has assigned 50%. So this is absolutely organizational specific. Got it? Now let me actually go and take you to a worked out examples. Okay? Quickly, I will do that. One second, guys. Are you able to see? Are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Okay, done. So I just thought, okay, let me. Okay.
I can only see your
Pardon?
file folder, not the file.
Okay. Then 1 second, stop sharing. Now?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's visible, ma'am. The
Okay.
Excel file is visible. Yes.
Okay. I'll just keep this. Okay, guys. Okay. All right. Let me just close. 1 second. Okay. Are you able to see the entire thing now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you see last time, you have identified 4 compensable factors, didn't you? Okay. Now, please use the same compensable factors. So the first thing when you're doing your point plan, step 1, identifying compensable factors. So when you do not change them, just use them. Okay. Step 2, now give weightage depending on the importance of these compensable factors for your organization. Like for example, I've given a weightage of 20 for education, work X 20, okay, span of control 25 and creativity 35. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Next, what did I do? I took degrees of differentiation, or they are also called factors of scale. Got it? How many factors I've taken? 4. Clear? Okay. Now, how do I create a point plan? I am creating a point plan by saying 20 into 1, 20, 20 into 2, 40, 20 into 3, 60. Just multiply the weightage by the degree. Got it? Now, the descriptors here in compensable factors have to be very, very distinct in the sense when I said education at a degree 1 ITI. Here again at degree 2, I can't have both ITI and engineering. Got it?
Yes. Yeah.
You have to have definitely a different descriptor because it will then your points will not be accurate. Got it? Then again, I said engineer plus certifications and then PG and engineer. Got it? So you stay with same compensable factors and descriptors. Don't redo them again because it will take a lot of time. Got it? All that you need to do now when you are in a group, what is it? Weightage. Create a different format like this. Only create 4 degrees and weightage and populate the plan. How will you populate the plan? Multiply the weightage by the degree. Simple. Any questions, please? Then I will proceed to the next one.
Ma'am, see, while we did the last exercise, we were looking at, let's say, a director of finance and head of HR. Or let's say head of a particular, let's say, metal department. Typically, if I look at it, maybe I don't need a postgraduate engineer when I'm evaluating a head of HR.
Right.
Maybe a graduate or maybe postgraduate in own discipline will do.
Right.
Right. But then how do I put it? Because then head of let's say metal department or head of HR, they all both will get the same points. Typically,
so you have to be very, very particular when you're doing this, saying that if I'm having a very complex organization, then what will happen? Then your degrees of differentiation will become more. Are you getting me?
okay.
First of all, that's the principle. If it is a simple organization, your degrees of differentiation will be limited to just about maybe 3 or even 4. Okay. Having said that, again, like here, if you see typically, I have just put taking into consideration just a production or a manufacturing. Okay. But if you are taking the entire organization, you will also have different qualifications as well for different the functional lines. You're getting me? Say, for example, you can say engineer here. So engineer, and then maybe if you are saying an MBA HR also can go with here. MBA HR here.
Okay.
MBA HR. Say, for example, I have an MBA HR here. Now, your question was, for an HR person, I don't need an MBA. Or take, for example, you need an MBA. Then what will happen? You have put it here. So, to that extent, his points will go up. But maybe again, work ets, the points will go down. Are you getting me?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
So, put your qualifications. Absolutely. When you are evaluating your job, if you are saying you have put an MBA here under some degree 3 or somewhere, you assign points as per that. That means you are giving higher points for higher qualification. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. So that is this is the most objective method. And that is why most of the organizations use point plan. All right. And when you are working, and I will also definitely help you, because you have to really work hands-on, and only then you will be able to do it. Okay. So I'm going to help you when you're doing it. Now, this is very clear, guys. Point plan, how you are. Now, you also have to do this. Take only 6 positions, or not more than that. Okay. Take only 6 positions, and then start looking at the job descriptions and assign points for these compensable factors. For example, I just took a HR team lead for a particular organization which I was doing, HR team lead. Say, for example, this HR team lead, I found that in education, he needed a post-graduation. So how many points will I give?
80.
80. And in terms of work experience, also, where is it? In terms of work experience, I think it's an HR manager. Say, for example, for in terms of work experience, 2 to 5 years, how many points will I give?
40.
40. Then in terms of span of control, HR lead is just an individual contributor. Then how many points will I give?
25.
25. And creativity also, it needs only degree 1. How many points will I give? 35. Okay, don't go by those points. There's some mishap. So what will I do then? I will add up all the points and put here. Okay. So I want you all to assign points, total of points, and then put a column like this, point value, only 6 positions, and then take an IT organization or a production organization, and in general, look quickly, don't go accurately. Market salary per month. Okay, market salary per month. I want you all to just do that, and I want you all to do in 40 minutes, so that the next phase of regression I will teach you a little later.